Okay, so welcome everybody to our color confidence class number 4, Wow Brows. My name is Reagan Danforth House. I'm a senior sales director with Mary Kay Cosmetics, and I have had the most fun teaching women how to take care of their skin, how to apply color. And y'all, I always tease, I know I may not look like it, but I am a low maintenance girl. I would rather be camping than shopping any day. I am flip-flops and jeans and a ponytail. And so, but I clean up good, right? Mary Kay has taught me so many things. Thank you, Joyce. And so, but I will tell you that one of my favorite things to do is to help women figure out what are the skincare products and the glamour products that are going to make you feel the most confident for the least amount of time and money, right? And so some of y'all are super low maintenance, some of y'all are glam girls, and you could teach these classes, right? But it's really fun to get to share different perspectives. And so tonight, I'm so excited because my co-host is Wanda Slade. And so I'm going to bring her on with me tonight. Hello, Wanda.
Hi.
And so she is our brow girl. I'm so excited for you to be on with us tonight.
Thank you.
Yes. So we have several of you joining us on Zoom. The products that you might want on hand, or if you're watching this from our live stream or a recording later on, whatever it is, we like to give you choices. We believe in choices in Mary Kay. These are some of the products that you may want to have on hand. Wanda, tell me if I forgot anything. Your brow pencil, your volumizing brow tint, your brow brushes, whatever brow defining brushes or our fluffy brushes, you might want that. You might want your concealer or even your under eye corrector. We've talked about using that under eye corrector as like a highlight. You mentioned cream to powder.
You could, foundation. You could use, you do 2 shades, lighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's going to be, so Wanda's going to be showing us, y'all. I'm going to learn some stuff with y'all tonight. I'm really excited about that. So those are just some of the products that you may want to have on hand if you're going to do your brows along with us. Okay. So Wanda, we were voxing back and forth, and I don't know if you got back to me. If you did, I didn't hear you. Do you want to talk about the how to shape your brow, or did you want me to do that part?
Well, I can do that part.
Okay.
Yeah, but I was thinking that you may want to talk a little bit more about like the tinted brow or the pencil. I don't know if that's something that you wanted to share, because this is some awesome stuff. I mean, you don't want to miss out on the knowledge of this. Yes.
Okay, so I tell you what, let's start with how we shape our brows before we even put any products on them. So let me do a quick screen share here. All right. Okay, so when we talk about shaping our brows, are you guys able to see this picture pretty well?
Yes.
Good. Okay, let me see if I can make it like a full screen. If I remove my spotlight and I make it just, let me see if I can make it like, does that increase it where you can see full screen better?
Yes.
Okay. I can't, it's hard for me to know what I'm looking at here. So, okay. So when you look at your eyebrows, the first step is shaping them a little bit. So now some of you, if you don't really have any brows at all, or even if you just have a very little bit of brow, you're losing some of the thickness of them, you still want them to stop and start in the right place. So if you see number one, so where you want them to stop is if you hold a pencil or, a piece of paper or your hand, and you go straight up from your nose, anything past there is what you would tweeze. All right. And you can kind of go crazy there. You can get rid of everything that is in the middle. So that's where you would tweeze, is right there. Now, when you start moving this direction, you want to be very careful to not over tweeze. Something that my mama taught me is that brows, the style of brows, the fashion of brows, it comes and goes. It changes from super, super thin. Right now, that's super full, kind of the bushy, fluffy. They're even, have you noticed they're like kind of crazy? Like they're intentionally brushed, like all furry.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
are like super in right now, which is great for me because I have very like thick, dark eyebrows. But so if let's say when it's really in style for them to be super, super thin, well, if you go crazy girl and you tweeze them, they stop growing back, right? And so you will have super thin eyebrows forever, whether you want them or not. So I really encourage you to think classic. Don't overdo it. Don't go crazy with brow trends. You can play with it where you can kind of thicken them up a little bit more, you know, when the trend is like it is now to have fuller eyebrows. You can maybe make them a little more understated. You're going to see some tips that Wanda's going to teach you with concealer where you can actually define, and you can make your brows look thinner without squeezing them out, because they really, you are risking that they will not grow back. And so just don't go crazy with the trends. Be classic. Be an Audrey Hepburn when it comes to your brows would be my advice. Okay. So, but really, I mean, yes, I do even think that getting a little bit bushier, a little bit closer in might even sometimes be the style, but I think you're pretty safe with tweezing, you know, for the most part, anything here. All right. Then you look at the number 2 line here on our model. Are you able to see me? Do you guys see me?
Yes.
I have it. You see that? Okay. And so that's where you go from your nostril. And if you're looking straight across, you want to go straight across your pupil. All right. And that's basically where you want the arch to be. All right. So when we start drawing the pencil or anything in, that's where you would maybe do like a dot right there, is you would figure out where's that spot. And that's where my little dot goes. And that's what I do, especially because my right brow is a little bit lower than my left. So I do carry it up a little. I'm a little more dramatic carrying it up here, right there, to make it a little as even as I can with this other side. Then where you want your brows to stop is if you draw a line from the corner, from the edge of your nose across the corner of your eye, you want your brow to go to that point. So if they're growing much further out than that, you would want to tweeze that out. You would want to tweeze those, and anything that's like down here on your socket bone here, you would want to tweeze. All right. And so that area is something that you can clean up a little bit. You can also, if your brows are growing really high and they're not shaped here, if you don't have much of an arch on the top, it could be. So sometimes you're tweezing here underneath to create the arch. And sometimes depending on how your brows are growing, I know a lot of people, their brows are just, they're not full necessarily, but you have brows down here and brows up here. And so what you want to do is you're just gently going to tweeze to shape that edge, just any of the ones that are just kind of the extra that are growing here and here. Okay, so that's how you can shape the brow. That also helps you to know when you're using the brow products to fill in that, like, my eyebrows pretty much stop right here. But in a picture or like on the go, you don't really see this whole last little section because they're so thin. I only have 2 or 3 or 4 brows. So if you look, my brow actually does end there, but you really don't see it until I fill it in. And so I lose that whole tail of my brow. And then some of y'all, your brows actually really stop growing, but mine just get really, really thin where you can't see them. Okay. Does anyone have questions about the shape of the brow? And you want to tweeze, don't tweeze against the skin. You want to tweeze it out the direction that it's growing so that you're not damaging that skin. Okay.
Good information.
Yay, good. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. Okay, so let me add Wanda back into our spotlight here so that you can see us both. And I see more people have joined us. I'm so thrilled to have y'all with us. We are just getting started, so it's perfect. And if you have any specific questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask your questions. That is totally fine. All right. So we're going to talk, Wanda, what's the first product that you're going to use? And I'll kind of talk about the products as we go.
Okay. Well, what I do is, because I lost a lot of my eyelashes, my eyebrows when I was doing chemo. So mine's are coming back just a little bit. So what I do is, I want the hair to go a certain, I'm gonna tell it where to go. So I use my little handy dandy uh, brow brush, and I make sure that I just brush it all in one direction. And so we want nothing laying down. So I'm gonna show y'all two different things. When you look at my eyebrows, you can see where it's thinner here, but it's fuller here. So, but just watch when I'm done, you would never know that it was something, I had an issue there. Because the one thing we want to know, we want with eyeliner, the brows, you do not want to just draw it on. We used to do that, ladies. We used to get that pencil, that black pencil, or whatever color and we used to just go and just make that moon. We don't do that. We want to arch, and you don't have to go out to do it. We're going to show you how to do it. So I brushed it, got everything looking the way I believe it should go. Then I would take my brow pencil, which is so great. I use black brown. Try to use a color that goes along with, you do not want to use black. A lot of people use black. Don't use black. It'll make it look harsh. It'd be like when people look at you, they go directly to your eyes, because it's just gonna be really, really special. So I take this pencil, and anytime you want to stop me, just stop me. I take this pencil. So my goal is to make a arch. That's my goal. So, just like Reagan said, you measure. I already know where my arch is supposed to be. I'm been doing it for a while, but just to show you, this is what I'll do if I didn't know how to do it. My goal is to put the dot right at the beginning of where I want to draw the line. So I'll put the dot right there, just a little dot. Then I'll go where my arch will go, and I'll put a dot at the top. Okay, I can't, Reagan, you had to read and then tell me, or somebody. And then I go right here, and I go here.
Yeah.
So Mary Kay does not have a black liner. It has a black brown liner. That's what we want. Some people want other colors. There's other colors, but what you want to do is go with the color of your hair here, and you don't want to go exactly the color of your hair. Maybe a tad little, right, Reagan? What would you?
Lighter, yeah. So you want to go the color of your eyebrow, or a little bit lighter, unless of course you have blonde, like white eyebrows that you're really trying to darken. But most of us, our brows are already a little bit darker than our natural hair color. And so you want your brows to be just a little darker than what your hair, even if it's your dyed hair color. So if you have brown hair and brown eyebrows, but you color your hair, you lighten it to blonde, then you would want to use like a dark blonde, even though your brows are really dark, because you want to fill your eyebrows in, but you don't want them to look too harsh by being a lot darker than your hair color.
And a redhead person would totally, because some redhead has red eyebrows. So
a light redhead is going to use the blonde, and a darker auburn redhead is going to use the dark blonde.
Go ahead on, Rick. Work it, girl. Okay. I love it. I love it. So this is what I do. Some people work on one eye and totally do that one eye. I work both eyes. So that way, they kind of be a little even. Sometimes when you do one eye, when you go to the next one, you kind of forget what you just did. So it's best to do both eyes at the same time. So what I'm gonna do is, my goal is to trace it. It's not hard. It's to trace it. So I take it and I trace the outline. But as you see, I'm going up. I'm going up. Very light. I'm not really trying to get I don't want a dark line.
Right. Yeah, you're
So
doing the length of an eyebrow hair.
mhm.
Yeah, is the deal. So that's okay. Don't worry about keeping up with. I'll keep an eye on the
Okay.
chats.
Good. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay. So I'm going up. Everything is going up. And then when I get to the arch that I believe I want it to be, I take it and I'm going down to where I want it to stop. So now I'm gonna fill in. So I'm gonna take it, little strokes, look like little, little hair strokes. It was just such a great pencil. I don't like mine's very thick. One thing I say, when you plan with this, don't worry about messing up. You're gonna mess up. If you mess up, the concealer is what's gonna clean it up. So if you think you went too thick, don't worry. It's gonna be all right. So we're filling it in. Now, if my lazy day and I don't feel like doing nothing else, this is what I do.
Mhm.
But when I want my makeup to pop and I want my eyes to pop, I'm gonna do a little bit more. And I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. So this is for the eyes who don't have much eyebrows. So we're gonna still take it and we're outlining where I wanna go. Regardless of how much hair I got, I know that those markers I put there are going to work. So I'm going up and then I'm gonna come down. That's just outlining it.
Mhm.
They say
Love
that
that.
eyebrows are not they're not twins, but they sisters. But sometimes we can make them look like cousins.
Yeah, there.
And we
I
don't
love
want
it.
them cousins. We want them sisters, not
Yeah.
twins. So we're gonna go and I am making me some eyebrows. Don't you play, girl. Don't worry about
Love
that.
it. I love it.
So we're gonna take it up. We don't want the beginning of it to be real harsh. We just want it to be a little lighter. So we don't really try to fill in right at the beginning. We want more of the color through through your eyes. Now, what the next thing I'm gonna use is, so you would never have known if that, you see how?
That's so good. It looks
Mhm.
really nice.
Yeah, yeah. So what we do is never clean up anything when you mess up, because I do this without my foundation on. The reason why is because I'm touching, I'm doing things, I can mark up something. And what's so great about it is um I can it works better that way for me. So I don't because I'm always doing this, or I'm
Mhm.
always, so what happens is when I finish, if I mess up, I don't touch it. I keep on
Mhm.
working until I do my full face. And then you be surprised, it starts to look great.
Mhm.
So,
I
oh,
love that.
Oh.
All right, so you did the pencil and then now you're going back and you're just doing a brush to kind of soften. And that also helps to give it that natural, not penciled on look.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
That softens it really nicely.
Mm-hmm. So what I do is you can use concealer, you can use foundation. Some people don't like I'm gonna show you how the concealer looks. And if you was one who really don't wear makeup and you want the look of a concealer, you want the look of it of a shaped eyebrow, but don't want the harsh, because I'm gonna show you. So I take a little bit of my concealer. Y'all didn't see me what I did. I take a little bit of my concealer and brush it onto my brush. And I take the tip of it and I'm gonna lay it onto the eye. I'm going to start right at the middle, because if I start at the beginning, it's gonna be a bunch of concealer at the beginning. So what
You're using the other side of the brow brush, right? This
right
point, this one. Okay.
Yep. So I'm gonna start in the middle and I'm gonna lay it on there and I'm gonna work it up. Because what I'm doing is pushing it up to make that arch. It's like I'm telling, well, I can't talk while I do this. So
no, that's so good. Yeah, I love it. I can see, y'all can see that, right? How she's shaping it and she's actually defining where that arch is going to go. So she does, we were talking about this earlier. She does her eyebrows first and I do my eyebrows last. But I know, like, we've done color consult trainings before, and if you're really, my eyebrows are already thick, they're already full, so I'm just kind of trying to make mine a little bit more even, filling them in and shaping them a little bit. And so I like having my makeup already done and then doing it. But look at what that did. Wow, girl, look at that, y'all.
Take
So
your
I can
finger.
definitely see why you like to do the brow, start with the brow.
Yeah, you take your finger, you bring the concealer down. Don't yeah, so what you're doing is trying to uh move some of the product down. You don't want it to stay.
Once you've finished kind of tapping that out, look straight on the camera so we can see both your left eye and your right eye together, so we can see the difference.
Okay.
Wow, you guys, look at that, y'all. Holy moly.
Wow.
All right, look at us again. Let everybody get it. Let this sink in, y'all. Ooh,
Oh, mama.
Look at that. I love it. I love it. So
I
good.
sometimes be surprised myself. I said, girl, you did that thing, didn't you? So well, if you can look close, there's more wet right there, and that's I would say dangerous. That's meaning that it can mess your whole look up. So the goal is to make sure you are bringing it down, because you don't want that wetness.
So yeah, so you're moving the product down so it's not like clumped and like right there underneath. You don't, and you want it to give it a chance to dry.
Right.
And set before you do your eyeshadow.
Right. Yeah. And this helps out with it can be your highlight. It could be your, but if you was one who don't wear makeup and you still want to do that, and believe me, that's why we're here. We will help you. That's why you got a consultant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and really you could just use, if you just used a tiny bit, you wouldn't even notice, and you wouldn't have, you could just do a tiny bit. Yeah.
Right. You're right. So I take the remainder. You don't have to do this, but I'm gonna show you the difference. The remainder, don't put no more on the product. Don't put no product on there. Take it and trace. You're just tracing.
And what color concealer is that?
This Let me move it first before it start drying. Look
No,
at
yeah,
it.
you're fine. You're fine. I was just curious if that was like a light bronze or.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. I just wanted to make sure it's a light bronze. And
Okay.
see, now what I
Oh,
did was I just shaped it.
look at that, girl. Oh my goodness.
Don't worry, because you'll put your foundation on, it covers it up.
You know, well,
That's why you don't put you don't go back into the product, because it'll make it harsh right here. So you just take a little bit just to, girl, look at, girl, I'd be surprised myself.
I love it.
So
I
we're
love
gonna
that.
do,
Okay, so why don't you do the other eye and do your foundation so they can see what you're talking about and how natural it looks. And then and while I do my eyebrow, just to give a couple of, are you finished with the brow part?
oh, let me do the other side too. Oh, you know what? I could do one. I could do one eye. So what I do next is I do the brow tint. What's so great about this is, I was saying, what is it? Follicles, hair follicles on it. And what you do. So the reason why I didn't do it beforehand, anything I mess up, this is going to make it better. So you just trace it just lightly in little strokes, and it's just going to fill it in. I love this right here. And my eyebrows stay right where it's at. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yes, that's that. Now, what I'm gonna do is, let's say, um, I'm gonna use my CC cream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna do a little bit around my eyes. So let's say this face is finished. This is not finished, but let's say this is finished. So I would take my CC cream, and I'm just gonna show you how it looks around my eyes. So I'm taking it a little bit down. I'm using my hand because it has heat to it, and I'm just taking around the eye area. CC cream is a tinted moisturizer. So it's for people, I like showing this for ones who I know don't like makeup, who's not going to take the time. But to put on CC cream is just a tinted moisturizer. It's just giving you a little tint. See the difference from this side to this side?
Yeah.
Mhm. So I don't sometimes like to wear my eyeshadow. So I put my foundation on it, and girl, I can rock it.
Yeah, just
Mhm.
bright. When you've got
Yeah.
brows and you've got that pretty lip color,
Yes.
especially
Mhm.
because I know that you're a caregiver, like you're caring for people all day. So I get
Right.
that maybe you don't do full makeup, but
Right.
you bring confidence and cheerfulness and joy,
Mhm.
and you want to walk in looking and feeling bright and happy and uplifted and
Right.
not like still asleep.
Yeah, because this eye, it actually lift up my eyes if you really look at it. And can you imagine then all of a sudden, then what happens is they even say to put on your eyeshadow before you put your makeup on. I'm telling you, every time I do that, when I put my foundation on, it just blow up. It's just I just be gorgeous. So yeah.
Yes,
So that's
be
finished.
gorgeous. You
Mm-hmm.
so do. I love
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Okay, so while you do the other side, I'm going to just show quickly what I do. So
Okay.
the brow pencil, you can do the brow pencil by itself. You can do the volumizing brow gel by itself, or you can do them both. And I have no idea where my brow pencil just went. I don't know if it rolled off my desk or if I have no idea where it just went. I had it and I've got the lid right here. I don't know what happened to it. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys. Oh, there it went. Okay, it was on my mirror. All right, so the our brow defining pencil is designed, it's very soft and it's very layerable. So you're able to decide how thick you want it to be. So for those of you who want your brows to be natural, but you just want them to be shaped a little bit more, this is a great option. It's also smudge resistant. And it's got long wear and it has been tested for sensitive skin and all of that. So what I do is, again, I figure out where my arch should be and I draw a dot right there because this eyebrow, I have a scar on this eyebrow and it kind of goes up more, but then it's got this scar on it. So I fill in the scar on that side, but on this one, I actually want to raise my arch up a little bit more. And remember what I said about drawing that end so that it doesn't just disappear. All right. And then on this side, same thing. So what I do is I just fill in, I've already got pretty full brows. So I'm just filling in to define and shape a little bit. And then right here is where my scar is. So, and I'm just going to do this super brows. Y'all, I don't spend a lot of time on my brows. Partially because I don't have to, I'm not as talented as Wanda is. And some, so a lot of times I just do one or the other. I just do a little bit of pencil or a little bit of the brow gel. I don't do both every day, that's for sure. Brushing your brows on a regular basis though is actually really helpful. It keeps them healthy, helps them to grow. It's like brushing your hair, right? You brush your hair to move the oils and to shape them and to help them to grow how you want them. So I'm just doing that super quick so you can see. And then I love our volumizing brow gel. I love it. A lot of days I use just this. Okay, so when you get it, you really want to wipe off that excess off of this brush because it can go on super thick, especially when it's a brand new one. It goes on really thick. So you definitely want to wipe off the excess. All right. And then wherever you want the most product to go is where you start. So for some people, it's here. I usually, because I do have a good thick spot right here, it's kind of easy for me to go ahead. And then I brush them up this way. Because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to coat the brow hair with the product. Okay, so I go this way to get that gel onto the hair. Can y'all see how I'm like crazy brow right now? Nice and crazy lady brow here. And I'm starting to get some of those really long eyebrows. Anyone? You have those where all of a sudden you've got like that one eyebrow? It's like up here. It's crazy. Yeah. But I don't tweeze them because that helps that's that nice thickness. And then this brow gel keeps them in place. So I'm brushing them up because those nice, thick, full, fluffy brows are very in. I let that gel kind of dry a little bit. And then I just shape like that. All right. And then that's where what Wanda taught us with the concealer, which I don't think I brought my concealer. I did not bring my concealer brush in here. So what I would do is what she did, and I would take my concealer brush and just wipe off any product that got up on here while I was brushing them up like crazy. All right. And so I love how she showed doing the brows first. I think I'm a little bit too lazy for that because then I have to work around my brows for everything else like she did. But she did such a phenomenal job. And just like anything else, once you practice it, it's so easy. So there's that one. So I did that brow versus that brow that has just the pencil. So I like this because it does fill them in, it shapes them, and it holds them in place. This gel, it's like hair gel, but it's tinted. So you're filling them in, you're making them thicker. So if your brows are not as thick as you want, it's like mascara, right? For your brows. It's shaping them, it's coloring them, filling them in. And I am using the dark blonde because I do have blonde hair, and I was a natural blonde. I have to help it out a little bit nowadays, but I was a natural blonde, but I have the thick eyebrows that my parents have. All right. So there you can see Wanda's and you can see mine using those simple products. Now, go ahead and let's finish with just a couple of pointers that you were talking about with the cream to powder, how you use the cream to powder, or you can also use this side, and mine's all fluffy because I shove it down in my, I don't use this one very much. So I've got it fluffed out, but yours looked really good because you can use this with a hazelnut or an espresso. Our Chroma Fusion eyeshadows work great for a eyebrow powder. So what were you going to share with us about the cream to powder though, Wanda?
Well, cream to powder also is a good product. Well, cream to powder or any foundation, long as it's 2 shades lighter, that will help give you the look. Cream to powder, if you use it in the area over here, just over here, it'll give you, and because it's going to dry as a powder, it just gives you a it still would define it, but it'll leave it with such a pretty finish, put it that way.
So are you talking about like in place of the concealer where it's under the brow? Okay, so using that to clean up and give that soft finish. We were talking about our cream to powder foundations last week. And I know Jennifer was saying that she tried it for the first time. I got a cream to powder foundation and the blending brush out. I didn't put it on today, but I'm going to try it tomorrow. It's in my bathroom for me to try tomorrow because I loved our cream to powder foundation 100 years ago. We've of course updated the formulas and made them, the latest and greatest. And I just kind of stopped using them. So, but I'm excited to try them again. I kind of feel like they're going to be like our new little, product, like VIP spotlight, because it keeps coming up as this really great product to have on hand. And so you're saying to just get maybe a little bit, it's not necessarily the shade that you would use for your whole face, but more like a highlighting shade.
Right. And when you finish with it, it just leaves just a beautiful, and then when you fill it in, you won't even have to put eyeshadow there because that's going to give you the finish you need. It's going to become like a highlight color, highlight. It's going to really
great. And then so then the eyeshadows, if you're interested in a powder where you're just filling in, you are able to use the eyebrow brush. And if you are a blonde, then you would use probably the hazelnut is probably the color that you would use to fill in. Cinnabar and mahogany are both really good for, like, cinnabar is really good for if you are a auburn or redhead. And then the mahogany and the espresso are great for maybe, I'm trying to remember, maybe not, mahogany is more redhead. Espresso is really good for dark brown hair. And then hot fudge is great if you have for black hair. And we do have an onyx eyeshadow, but again, doing that black, if you're doing it soft enough, you could probably pull off a little bit of onyx if you have black eyebrows to just kind of fill in a little bit, but hot fudge might actually be a better way to go because it's just going to soften that look for you. So thank you so much, Wanda. Do you have anything else that you want to add about brows, or anybody else have anything you want to add about brows or questions before we call it a night? Okay, great. Well, oh my gosh, Wanda, thank you so much for doing a fabulous job. You can tell this is like your thing, girl. You know how to rock those eyebrows. Thank you so much for taking the time to prepare and share with us. And everybody, I just want to remind you that next week for our Color Confident week number 4, we are doing eyes. Oh my. So Jennifer is going to be joining us and helping with how to apply your eyeshadow based on different eye shapes. We're going to talk about picking out the colors for your eye color, which we mostly covered that in week 1 under color theory. So for the sake of time, we aren't going to go into that as much. So pick out your colors now. Get together with your Mary Kay consultant. She can put together a look for you. You can do a compact, like my favorite, like everyday compact that has the 3 eyeshadows, cheeks, highlighter, and contour. That's my everyday compact right there. She can help you create one. She may even have some samples where you can play with some samples next week with us live. And so picking out those colors, if you're not sure what colors you want to try, get together with your beauty consultant and or watch Color Confident number 1 color theory. And we're going to be applying that. So have those ready. We're also going to be doing eyeliners. We're going to be doing the eye primer. So having your eyebrow, all of your eyeshadow brushes ready so that you can do it with us live would be fantastic. So thank y'all so very, very much for joining us. It was so fun, and we'll see you back here next week.